Get it, Dev. Double O. Let's go. Whoops. What's going on, people? Get it, Dev. Double O. Let's go. Back at it again, folks. So listen, we are at it. Finally, the time is here. Adobe XD crash course. Folks, I've been rambling and now it's time to dive in. So today we're gonna go into one of my favorite design tools when I'm doing my client work. I love to do mock-ups and get my clients involved, and Adobe XD is my go-to. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna have a video on Figma as well, and then I'm gonna follow up with a video on the both of them and where I feel each of them are stronger and weaker. But obviously, right now, going on statistics, Figma is the best one right now, but I love my Adobe XD, and so will you. So if you're new to Adobe XD or the Adobe platform, welcome. You're gonna love this video. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get to it. Ooh, time out. Shameless plug alert. So guys, if you like what you're hearing, like what you're seeing, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, ring that bell so you'll be notified for every video that I drop moving forward. Anything else? No, I don't think I have anything else. Back to the video. All right, folks. So welcome to the wonderful world of Adobe XD. So again, this is a crash course, guys. I want to show you some quick stuff. I just really want you to get in here and be to dive in and come have some fun. So you're not going to see all the long drawn out stuff as far as how I go about my whole designing process or things I do with my clients. It's just more so just how I get in here and just kind of get going. Even how I get inspired. I want to save all that for another time. I just want to get you in here, show you what Adobe XD has out of the box, because this is a free version, and let's see what it's about. All right, so this is what we have right now, taking it from the top all the way across. You have your menu here, the typical where new, open. I really don't want to go through each of these other than get your UI kits. This is a great way to start for my ones who want to do some wireframing and building out some prototypes and things. They got where you can go grab some more from the website, or you can grab some that are branded, like from Windows, Material Design, and Apple. So those are just to name a few that you can get your hands on directly, or you work through here. But manage your libraries. This is if you're, for the ones who are familiar with Adobe, in the world of Adobe, the whole Creative Cloud, you're able to sync up every piece of tool you use with Adobe and pretty much compile all of your work into a library. So I can do something in Photoshop, kind of like something I would have done with these, but these were already preset, the ones I found for some sources outside of here. So I will pull it over to Photoshop. Let's say if it had a background, I would, just pen tool around it or crop it out some shape, form, or fashion to give myself a transparent background and just keep my my prop here. So anyway, that's what the libraries do, help you manage with those kind of things. Save your documents, save as, save local, so on and so forth. Turn on spell check. This one, if you're really trying to be very on point with things, you would totally want to do that. So I'm going to turn mine on. I thought it was actually already on. So export, import. So the typical things, in all these different tools. Your plugin, I'm not going to do it from here, but this is how you can manage all your plugins, and you can learn all your short keys. I'm a short key junkie, so I'm not going to do any for this tutorial though. I'm going to just use the good old right click mouse or just kind of go to the options and take that back. I'm actually going to do one though. It'll be Shift, Control or Command if you have Mac, and P for my plugins. Maybe grabbing one from there. Okay. All right. So that's that. Other than that, we have our select tool, and you have the hotkeys next to them. But we're gonna just again. Obviously, I'll click over there. It's fine. I'll click on those. Your rectangle, your ellipse, your polygon, line, pen tool. I love my pen tool. I'm gonna do something absolutely amazing with vector designing and stuff like that. So I have a segment for that too later on in the future. Text, your artboard. That's the fun part. And actually I have one already I put out here, but I'll show you how I went about that because you can actually do that from the start of the screen. But I'll show you how that looks here in a second though. All right. And then you have your good old zoom in, zoom out. So I really don't do that from there. So some basic controls though you will want to have, honestly. You can hold shift, you can scroll your mouse wheel up or down. So down goes right, up goes left. All right. Control, up zooms in, down zooms out. So these are the same kind of functions and features you can actually do in your browser. So this is the same thing. Just to let you know. So you can obviously zero out too to get yourself zoomed out to its default position. Okay. So that's that. And I got an artboard already named it. Already named my file. It's already saving to the cloud. That's the cool part. I love how my stuff saves to the cloud. I'm on a Surface Mac. Oh my goodness, a Surface Pro. I'm on a Surface Pro 6. So this little bad boy, I have the cheapest one, I think, or the mid tier. But anyway, it doesn't hold a lot of things. So anyway, I have my stuff saved to the cloud. Got my name on it. Art Kicks. I just kind of came up with something here, just running shoes, and I just thought about running kicks, whatever. And here is my landing page name I have set up. Artboard is ready. So here's the thing. If you have an artboard, you can actually hold, or not hold, but press A. And down here is your list of artboards you can work from. So we have your iPhones, your Google Pixel phones, Samsung Galaxy, your tablets, your iPad Pros, Surface Pros, and you have your Windows screens. This is your large desktops, your 920. That's the one I'm using right now. I just love all that real estate, but I can make things happen in smaller pieces too. But that's my favorite one. So and then you have your other ones as well for smaller screens down to like your small laptop screens. Even for social media, you can come in here. Some of my artwork, I like to kind of use these boards right here. So Instagram stories, Twitter posts, so all that's here. So there's some things you have available in watches. So some smart watches, you want to have a cool smartwatch design. That's a very fun thing, trendy, cool thing to do. You can come in here and grab that artboard as well. So anyway, all right, so now we have our artboard here. Now we're ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna honestly just build the one that you saw on the Twitter post. If you guys have seen it, for the ones who didn't see it, you just kind of go in with me. But we're gonna grab the rectangle. Here's the reason why though. We got two ways we can do this. We can actually click our artboard and you can work out the fill tool to fill it in any color you like, right? Or you can hover over it and then do this. So there's really no set way. I'm just gonna honestly rebuild it the same way I did it, but just so you kind of see how this stuff works. So before I do that though, I want to show you some two cool things. I saw this in Photoshop and some of the other tools, and they finally brought this into here. I want to say maybe a few months ago. I thought this was absolutely brilliant because this totally helps. So it's a ruler. It sits just a hair outside of your artboard. So it's only on the left and right, as you can see, or top and left, I should say. Not on the right and not on the bottom. It's on the top and the left. And that's typically where your rulers are on some design platforms. So anyway, you would scroll it down to where you want to be fixed at the bottom and where you want to be fixed at the top, from the left, so on and so forth. So this is if you're getting ready to set some things up. I would typically do this if I'm just getting some inspiration. This is just for fun when I do things for flyers and things. So I would just kind of, line some stuff up to where I would want some text to show right here. I would want to have a prop of some sort here. So these are cool ways that I would do that. So you can do that, and then you can, I believe, on right click, I should be able to hide these guides. You will go here under guides and hide all guides like that. All right, so then they're gone. So with that being said, even with them being gone, I believe it still clicks and snips and snaps into place, but I don't want to just too much deep dive into that. I just want to let you know the rulers are made available, and yes, so they're here. So that's that. So another cool thing I want to bring up too is your with control. I don't know how to do control. Let's actually do the grid. So we actually have your guides or your layout grid. So your layout grid, this is the layout grid. So this is commonly what you see on desktops. I believe this is the 12 column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 column count, you'll see this done in 12 sometimes, other times in 10 with a gutter width of 20. Again, don't worry about any of that stuff. This is just some stuff that you'll see. That's another way to lay out your work. You have some people who are far more detailed than I am. They will go with probably a small grid like this. I would say this is more for your ones who are doing architect kind of work, some CAD type of work, that would be something like this. I mean, you see a lot of folks who even do brandings and logos. They would choose this grid, but mine is a good old column grid, so I can keep things into place. When you have this here, it actually snaps your things into position. So we're going to actually use a part of that, and we're going to start with a little bit of text. Now, here's my thing with Adobe. I'm not a major fan of the fact that I got to pull in a whole bunch of system fonts. I only had a handful of them when I very first started with Adobe XD. It's almost a requirement. I just had to pull in all the text that I can get. So I just started pulling in all kind of text from Google font. And I think that already alone makes Figma stand out over XD, though, is the fact that they house all of Google fonts in there for you. So regardless though, and you can use your system fonts, but regardless, even with the headache, I still just love my workflow here. So I'm going to use good old Open Sans. Let's just see if I had it set. Open Sans. Let me highlight the word again and go ahead and use Open Sans. All right. So some of the stuff we're going to get ready to mention right now, some of the features. Right now I'm using the select tool again. After I did my text, I just typed the escape button to release it, and I was given a block. So a couple of things you can do with that though is with your text, your different settings are this. So you have it for the auto width. That allows for you to kind of keep it in this mode to where you want to stretch it out. It'll set the width for you automatically. So you can span it out however you want it to the size you would like, which is what I'm going to do right now to make it, quick and simple. But I want to show you the other ones too as well, though. You have auto height, and with auto height, this is more so when you're trying to look to kind of put some more text in, and you want it to kind of stay positioned and you'll fix the width, and then it'll all kind of align, stack on top of each other. That's what it'll do for you. So that's honestly what you do when you do that. So then that's for auto, and then for fixed, this is this one, and it does essentially the same kind of thing, but this kind of keeps it all stacked together as well. So let's do a little bit of that. I'm going to use a shortcut here real quick. I have it set with Command Alt L, but it is a lorem ipsum. Let's just actually go to it. How about that? Go to plugins. So I did Control or Command Shift B, pull these in, and I am going to go to lorem ipsum. So this is a quick way to generate. It's a dummy text generator. I click it. I'm gonna do quick. I'm gonna do quick lorem ipsum. There you go. So lorem ipsum is here. So I have it right now set for fixed size. And all right, so we got that fixed height. Okay, so this is the fixed size. Excuse me. So as we grab the side of this, you see it stays fixed. And we have a cool nifty feature on here. You can double click the bottom there where the red dot was at, and it will drop down your box, your text box, so you can see the rest of your text. All right, so that essentially, once you put it like that, it actually goes into the mode of auto height. All right, then you have auto width again, like I said, which will set it like that. All right, so that. So, all right, so look, I thought about it. So I was getting ready to put my text there. Let's go ahead and do what I was aiming to do originally. So I'm gonna do Control or Command Shift P. Get that out of the way real quick. All right, let's go back here. I'm gonna use the rake tool. Again, you could have just filled in the background. I'm just gonna kind of do this because I just kind of did it. So it was just a preference. But I'm gonna go ahead, and as you can see, when you draw your sides of any shape or anything, you have these lines that'll kind of snap, little light blue lines. And I think you can set the color of those lines too, but I'll leave it the same, and it fills in for you, okay? So I'm gonna remove the border. These are the different settings you have on here for borders. They can be curved with the round cap, and then you have the projecting cap. So you have these different settings you have on the edges of your borders and things. And again, it's the crash course. So I don't want to get too lost in the nuances, the small things. So what we're getting ready to do is removing the border, and we're going to change our background to a black background. All right. Next, we have some assets over here. So we're going to grab these. I'm going to grab my runner, and I am going to resize him. So these are some cool things you'll want to know though. I click and hold and grab them over here, and you can hold shift to resize them if you like. Or in this case, he's already fixed. He's this is more like an SVG. So, I say SVG, but it's a PNG, but it's fixed to where it doesn't skew. If it was an SVG, it'll kind of be all over the place. So I'm saying that to say that's when you would need the shift button, hold shift to keep it locked in so you can resize it. But in this case, it's not even necessary, but I love to do that anyway. You can hold Alt and scale it up or down right here where it's positioned. Okay, so shift is going to take it to wherever you have your pointer in. So prime example, like if I shift this way, it's going to go that way, or down the opposite direction. Shift up. So make sense? Cool. So I'm going to put this guy probably somewhere around here. So it may not look spot on from what you've seen yesterday on the post if you saw it. But another cool trick too, used to drive me nuts. If you can see when I slide my guy, he kind of snaps over to the wall, like get off the wall, man. So you can hold the control button. That control button does a couple things. So if you hold the control button, then now I'm sliding him, he doesn't snap. Let go of it, then he snaps a little bit. All right. So that's some cool things, but we're gonna actually put this guy right here, let him touch the bottom, and I'm gonna have him scale with holding the shift so I can bring him up in this direction. And he will hang tight right here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put him on a 50% opacity. And next, we're gonna kind of rinse and repeat here. So I'm gonna get my runner here, my next runner, and I'm gonna put her right over here. I'm going to center her up. It has a center line here. So I'm gonna put her right here. Maybe about right in here. And then we'll do another 50% and let it kind of fade out back there in the background. So again, I may just nudge over just a hair. Let's see. I want to get her in here because I want to have a rectangle out here. The open is going to block her a little bit there, and I want to take her all the way out of there. So don't be surprised if I kick her over again, but this will do right now. So what I'm going to do is a couple of cool things you do on here is you can do click on your prop. I'll hold control and I can click. Let's see if I did it right. I'm sorry. Hold control and shift, or you can hold shift. Hold shift. I selected him, I selected her, and I'll hold shift again, and I will select the background. You can do it that way. If there's other things in your way, you will want to do that. Click and hold shift and click around, and you'll you can make those selective choices on what you would like to select and group, because we're getting ready to group this, okay? In this case, I can actually drag using my select tool, click outside of it, and just drag across and highlight them all. Control or Command if you're on a Mac, G, and now everything is together. All right, so that's how we have that. So next, we're going to go ahead and come up with our rect tool, or R for our rectangle. Let's go ahead and just click over on the box so you know where I got it from, and I'm going to bring it out and just kind of scale it. I don't really have a set position right now. I'm just going to bring it out here right now, and based on this, I'm going to use Alt and drag it down and just kind of fix it to where I'm in the center. So I'll let my line touch, see my guidelines, and then right here. So it lets me know that I'm in the center and I'm on the center point on the X and Y axis. So as you see, they're a little out of play here. So I'll probably grab them. And what you can do is nudge it with the left button if you want to make a big jump, or by 10 pixels, you'll hold shift in the direction you want to go. So I hold shift and kind of get her outside of there a little bit so we can see her. And then I'm gonna get this gentleman who will grab him. Now again, they're all grouped together. So again, I want to show you this Command or Control. You see how that highlights? Now we can be specific on what we want, or more direct on what we like to select and manipulate. So again, I'm gonna hold shift, but in the opposite direction, I'm gonna get this gentleman hanging outside just a little bit. So now there we go. All right. Next, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hold Control and scroll up. I'm gonna zoom in here. Okay. Then I'm gonna do T, but in this case, I want you know where I got it from. So down here on your design kit here on the corner, toolkit here, use T, and we're gonna bring in some text. All All right. So now we type home. You saw it earlier. I hit escape and got out of there. So again, we're going to leave it in the auto width mode. I just want to be just easily scale this stuff up easily. But I want to show you a cool feature that I love from Adobe XD from day one, which was Control or Command R for repeat. Look at this. So, you know, most sites you see home, about, contact, all these same things, my work, or all that kind of stuff. So you can scroll down or right and get a repetition, a repeat of these same words so that you can get some of this stuff knocked out at once. So we got two ways we can do this. My fun way is doing it this way. I would do home, about, and in this case, I got to remember what I did. So this is what I got to do. I'm going to tell you about these two components. Let me go to my layers. They've definitely changed this up now. I used to have short keys. And look, they probably bring it back. Let's see, Control Shift Y. No, they did this. Yeah, they didn't bring it back what I was looking for. But anyway, Control Shift Y or Command Shift Y, I have my components. So I made a component of that tool that I had. Of that layout that I had, so that I can come back to it and reference it. So I want to pull it back out here, just show you how components work. And at the same time, I'm going to take advantage of me having it already, and I'm going to reference it. All right, so it's out here. And we're going to actually snag our shoe and bring it over here. I'm going to show you something cool here. So as you can see, we had set it up for men, women, and kids. All right. So I'm actually going to keep this font a little bigger because it was super tiny when I showed you guys on the post. But anyway, we're going to stretch it out. So we got women or men, women, kids, and it's 3 of them, right? You can come right here in between and work the space out between the 2 of them. So a good spot could be maybe 50. That slider doesn't always work, but it did that time for me. All right, so now we have our whole repeat grid laid out the way we want it. We can hold Command or Control Shift G. And what this did was this ungrouped it. So ungroup it allows for it to be selective out on its own like this. All right. And then we can do Control G. It will group these. So if you notice, when we grouped it this way, they're all together. And then the one I had right behind the scenes that's going to go in the repeat grid did not show. But if I release all of them, I've scaled this out so far that behind there, this one's there. So what I'm going to do is actually bring that in. And then I'm going to do it again. Control Shift or Command Shift G. So I can separate these guys for now. So that's men. We just double click over it and fill those out. That's all we got to do. I get my double click right. Men, women, and kids. All right. There we go. As you can see, we need a little more space. We can always hold Shift. You can hold Shift, and this will allow for you to slide on the X-axis. You can't go up or down. You'll hang tight right where you belong. And you can always go out here and take advantage of your smart guides and let you know what's been spaced out between the 2. Now the space has changed because of women being such a long text, right? If I hold Control, you can change what's below there. So right now I'm on the text, but this makes it direct, and then I click behind here and got to hold that rect tool. So with that being said, I'm going to show you something else. I'm back here now in the entire background. If I don't watch it, I can yank it out of the way, right? We don't want that. So we can do right click and we can do lock. All right. Now that's going to lock it up. So now check it out. Now I get back here. It stays put right where we need it, right? So we don't break anything. Same thing for this. I'm going to do the same thing for our rectangle. I'm going to leave it the way it is. And let's lock it up. So now we don't have to worry about it. So now when I want to make these selections with text, I can do so, right? So men, women, and kids, I'm going to do holding Shift and clicking each of those. I want to change something on all 3 of these. So I want to change the text color. I want to do 2C, 2C, 2C. That's a nice faded black. It's an off black kind of color. I don't like anything to be pure black unless it's a background or something like that. But and even with that, most of the time, like mine faded black. But anyway, so we have that, and then we have our kicks. This text is pretty huge. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. First thing first is I'm going to actually slide this down to maybe let's get to nudge mode. Maybe about 30. I'm thinking 30. We'll just do that. for now. How about that? So again, your shift can go up and down, and then it'll lock it from the x-axis. All right, so I'm going to slide it down, put those by each other. And if I turn my grid on, let me show you something. Let's grab each of these. You either shift them and hold them all together, and then they'll go around with you when you hold shift together, or you can go ahead and just do Control or Command G. Let's just group them together. But anyway, I got the grid on now, so now it snaps. So if you see, it was ticking, and then it finally snapped over in this corner for us. A good spot for it. Or now is it? It's not. So we're just gonna work it off a little bit. We're just gonna play with the eye right now. I'll work off my eyes to do it, right? And then I want to come down a little bit though. Now I want to show you another cool trick. You want to hold Alt so we can get some measurements here. So we can see how far we are at a certain point. This group, I can go right here and see where I'm at on the rectangle. See, so I'm 45 pixels off from the left, 19 from the top. I love to get an even number, I do. So I want to do 20 for now. Or we just actually will stick with 20. All right. I always say for now, like I'm going to change it. I'm not going to change it for the sake of time. All right. So next, this is what I like to do. So I want to show you, in this case, we have this is all grouped together. It's going to make more sense if I ungroup it. So Command or Control Shift G. I'm going to show you something. So another cool way, instead of that repeat grid, we can always do two things. Two more things. We got three in all. Control D. And you probably didn't see it get darker, but it's one overlapping over the other. So you can hold Shift, get it out from over there, or whatever you want to do, just pick it out of there. And there go another one. Or we can hover over this one, hold Alt, back out of there. All right. So you got the repeat grid. You got Control D to duplicate, bring them out of there. Or you can hold Alt, bring them out of there. So I want to bring them out so I can just bring in the brand name. So I did an R Kicks dot. It's random, right? Running shoes. So it's, I don't know. I got inspired. I don't know what I was thinking. So we're gonna scale it up a little bit. I want to make this bad boy a little huge. Going for a little minimalistic look. That's what you saw me going for when I was doing this. I had a wee bitty, itty bitty, tiny shopping cart we're gonna put back here. So what about plugins? I have a slew of plugins. I'm going to totally say this for a whole nother day. More than half of these you're probably not going to need. I'm a plugin junkie, so I just got them all here, and I only probably use half. So Icon Drought from Icon Scout. I love this one. One that I can't get on here that I can get on Figma is my absolute favorite one, hands down, for the simplicity of it, is Iconify. That one you're able to grab any icon, change the size of it, and you can do more than anything, change the color of it. That is so key. But there's a cool trick here from here, since I don't have that I like to do from time to time when I have time to spare. But I can actually jump from here and immediately manipulate the look and feel of it through Photoshop, save those changes, and it shows up here. But that's a whole nother time, a whole nother story, a whole nother video. So moving on. So Icon Scout, you always come here and I'll grab some free ones. What you're going to probably see me do too when I do my vector art, I'm going to come here. I'm going to grab a premium one. I'm going to show you how I'm going to get in here, and you're going to see a lock or watermark of some sort that's in the way of some of these icons like this, and a little squiggly mark. There's two ways you can do this. You can actually go to Photoshop, take care of this, which I would never do. I wouldn't take the time to do so. Or you can just simply get in here, drop that opacity, we rock the pen tool, and we can start lining that bad boy up. That's what you'll do with me. I'm going to show you that cool thing. So just for the fun of it, just, 101, don't tell me I can't get anything. I can get it. But anyway, I digress. So we're going to free, and I'm going to type in cart. All right. So I think I had this one. So click the button, cart lands on my canvas. I'm going to do Control or Command Shift P. Let's get it out of the way. I don't want to distract us here. So again, you can hold Shift to get it dragged to a point, which I probably am. I want to send it up to that corner where it's going. And what we can do is, if you keep a little bit of a zoom out, it'll line up for you. You'll be able to see where you're lined up at. So I'm going to hold Shift and drag up. So you saw the top and bottom of the line. So I was doing that so that I can get a decent height here on the cart. Again, that downside to pulling in with this type of plugin. So I'm not able to match my off black. I would like that off black for there, not this harsh black tone for my icon, but it is what it is right now. Okay. Next, we're going to grab the ellipse tool here, right? The circle, oval, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to drag this over just a hair. And I'm going to go with my select tool. I just did V, but my select tool, I'm going to kind of position it off just a hair, nothing perfect. And I want to remove the border. And I am going to make that color a nice little green means go, right? Then we're going to use the text tool, which again, I keep doing the short key for, which is T. But we'll go over to grab the text tool. I just want a number 1 for now. I'm going to hit escape to release it and use my select tool to scale it down a little bit. So we'll scale it down. And then we're going to keep dragging it until when you see those cross marks, the plus mark, that means you got it as centered as possible in here. Then we'll scroll down to our corner here and change the fill to white. And I'm a stickler for this though. I mean, I don't really feel like that's spot on to the center, but I feel like something like that is. But it does not matter. It's your preference. Again, I love this kind of stuff because it's subjective. You know, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. So next, we're going to snag our shoe. We're going to put him right here in the center, right where he belongs. It's almost like he just goes there. Now, if you notice, I brought the shoe in, right? And I almost feel like, too, I'm veering off here, but I got a ton of more stuff that Adobe XD does. And I want to see if I can cover it. I know positioning here. Let's just grab the shoe and see if we can tackle some more stuff, because I feel like I'm leaving some stuff out on you guys. We have right here, you can align to the top of your artboard, not just where you are. It's primarily on the top of the artboard, center point, the bottom part. And obviously the same thing here, your left, your right, and your center. So these are your alignments based on where you are. That's where these come into play. So for your aligning, and then this one is for your aligning. This is more so, if you think about it, for my coders, this is almost like Flexbox. Almost kind of like with the aligning, the headache part of Flexbox when you don't understand the two, but the aligning items or aligning content. I think I'm saying it right, but anyway, I digressed. So that's that repeat grid you saw over here. So I did Control R. I did. You can do. I think you could even do it from here. Again, I'm so used to short keys, so I didn't do it from here, but. You have the repeat grid up here for the ones who missed that part. These cool tools, I'll show you this in just a hair. But you're going to grab a couple of shapes and I'll show you how that works. Components, you can always do it from here too. So the Control K, or even from here, I'm going to double check, make a component. Yep. And then it shows you the high key, Controller Command K, or you can hit the plus button right here and make you a component. All right. Component. Let's show you a cool trick with a component though. Let me show you how this stuff works. We're going to make this a component, right? I want to hold Alt and drag it out of the way. I want to show you how components work. So when I go here, I am going to just for the heck of it, come in here, double click on this component so I can get in there. Notice what happened. I made an instance of that component. This is the child or the instance of our master component. Whatever is done to that one is done to there. So this comes in handy when you have artboards, maybe with this menu link here, and I make some more artboards with the menu links and I want to change the color. I can go to the master layout. If you don't know where it is, you can right click and let's double check to make sure it shows it here. Edit main component. So then it's going to highlight your master layer, your master component that changes all those instances. All right, cool stuff. All right, so we just grab it. I mean, whatever. We just keep it there like that. All right, next we are going to go through here, and I want to create a button here in a second. I want to make sure I got everything down the line. Let me show you the cool 3D feature. So here we do 3D, which is totally not necessary for this. You have your access. This is a cool nifty feature. I think a few months ago this was brought here too. This should have been here in XD a long time ago, but thank goodness it's here. But you have where you can swivel your different layouts. This gives you I would use these for presentational purposes, like when you're really trying to present something like I don't know, getting ready to present something to some stakeholders, or you get ready to show off some cool work on Behance or Dribble. But anyway, so you can swivel that on the x-axis, I guess you would say, rotate it that way, left and right, and You have to pay attention now to kind of where the arrow shows you there. And it's left and right, and this is up and down. So you can lay that bad boy flat a little bit, make it look pretty crazy, you know. And these are cool ways to manipulate that. And you have a dot in there where you can scale it up and down. So it gets pretty wonky, but again, these are just the many uses of that. So that's a cool thing. I like that. So it's Control or Command T if you want to know the hotkey for that, the short key, or how to do it. So some other stuff we have. I like this stuff too. I'm not going to really dive into deep to these, but you have some cool effects you see on some cool sites where there's some scroll effects. So we have some of that going on: horizontal scrolls, some vertical scrolls, or some diagonal, some horizontal and vertical scrolls. This come in handy if you want to just kind of have a spot that works through. It used to didn't be that this easy to do. You used to like have a multiple set of these, and you will work them off the screen. And if I want to slide through a list of shoes, I had to kind of group these together. And then when you go to prototype, it was just something so ridiculous. So now you can go here and then do the horizontal scroll. Once you group these together, a horizontal scroll, lock it in, and you can do that. But I want to say the deeper stuff for another video. So, all right, so that's that. Responsive resize. This is used for your components. By the way, this was locked, and I clicked on the lock to unlock it. And you can resize your components. So that back one's locked. I'm going to grab this whole thing, and I'm going to group it. All right, so when I scale it, notice when I scale it, it is responsive. Nothing has fell apart. I take that responsive mode off and shrink it. Now, granted, it's going to still hold because of where I had it positioned. But when we start doing stuff like this, it can get a little crazy. So now let me double check on that. I want to make sure I didn't tell you guys wrong. So then if I do this here now, well, same thing when it's responsive. Not responsive. There we go. So an example, not responsive. You can see our text got a little wonky, as you can see. And then if we go to responsive, see our text holds together. It crams together, but it still holds together. Our icon stays together, and our brand name stays together, right? So the shoe is the only thing that goes crazy. So, I'm not sure how that works, but again, that's how responsive works though. It keeps in responsive mode because this helps for honestly quick design ups, quick spin ups. Control D, shift to slide it over, makes for quick spin ups of when you're getting ready to go mobile. So, when you're ready to go mobile, we slide it in, then we can make our adjustments accordingly, so you can shrink your sizes, all that, this, that, and the other. Cool, right? That's the whole point in that. So digressed, but I wanted to show you how that kind of works. All right, after that, we scroll down, we have a little stack mode. This is cool now. Hey. So I have stack. So this is a cool new feature. It got introduced the same time 3D came out. So this was cool. Vertical stack or horizontal stack. We're gonna do vertical stack. This will be their auto, kind of almost do an auto layout, if you will. But this is where you do cool stuff like this. I can swap around different words in different positions, and they'll stack differently. So just cool stuff like that. So I'm going to slide it up to the top. So it does things like that. So it gives you a bit of an auto layout and allows for you to kind of manipulate and stack things on top of each other. It does the word, stack. So horizontal stack. We can do the same thing here. We can, I think that different ones, if I grouped it, this probably would have played much better for us, but I can grab it and then shift these around. So you gotta kind of be careful with that though, because it could kind of slide out of place based on the dimensions. But see, we can slide these around, swap places. So it's pretty cool. And you can also work on the gutter spaces in between. So, right. So pretty cool stuff. Again, I want to say that for the advanced stuff. I just wanted to show you how cool this was though. So stack is freaking amazing. You can really get deep into this stuff. So I would just always encourage you to come in and just play around with this stuff, man. It's so much. I mean, you got stuff from where, if you're familiar with Photoshop and stuff, the different blend modes, this stuff can get pretty crazy. But again, that's all for another time. So we got the gist of things covered. So home stretch, I use R for the rec tool. I just want to just kind of save some time here. And we're going to do this. I'm going to show you something here. I got it placed here. If I hold Shift and C, it's going to center align that for me. That was the short key for that. So we're going to kind of leave it right here. I kind of like it where it's at. So I'm going to take the border off though. And as you can see, we don't see anything. This is where I got a cool setup of the shadow or background blur. And this could be doing a shadow for a drop shadow behind the box. This is how we kind of let it pop out. So the y-axis is already set at 3. I'm going to set the x at 3 as well. In my blur, that's these different meanings right here is x-axis or x position or x-axis. Let me show you how this works. So this is the cool thing too. When you do your values on here, you can click into the input box or into an input area, scroll up and scroll down to raise and fall or rise and drop your values. So this lets you know the x-axis, that box shadow goes left and right, y up and down. Here you go. So I'm putting that at 3. I want it to kind of curve out in the same spot. And then the blur, how far it spreads behind it. See, that's too sharp like that. And we don't want to spread that far out. It's very harsh. So a sweet spot for me is about 10. So give me that nice little pop, right? So we can always grab some text. But I'm gonna actually, why not? Let's just do it. Oh, we're not gonna do it because it's actually grouped. So we're gonna just do T for text. And then we're gonna do, let's actually make it where you guys can see it right out the gate. Do a 2C. And then we're gonna do view product. And you'll see if spell check works. I'm curious. Totally got a spell check on. Why did you not catch that? Okay. Shame on you, spell check. Shame on you. Anyway, so we're going to keep it on auto width. I'm going to scale it up. Yeah, right there, just a hair. And then I'm going to center it up. So cool part with this is, I'm kind of working at center outside of this box. I'm going to show you a cool trick. So I'm right here and I'm fighting with something I want to center it. I can hold this, select this, and hold Shift and select this one too. And then Shift C, and it will center up inside of that for me if I haven't grouped them yet. I'm gonna go ahead and group them though. And then there we go, view product. So we're right here on the home stretch, folks. I may show you something else here. I actually am in a few minutes, show you some other features. We'll do a deeper dive on another video though. So right now we're looking pretty cool. Got something very simple, very simplistic, very minimalistic. This text is rather large, but let's see. Maybe I should just set that for 30. There you go. That looks cool. And then my space, I'm gonna click on here, hold Control and click on there and hold Alt and get next to the other text and see the spacing. So 55, we'll let it set the tone. We'll slide it down, let it match up. All right, cool. So smart match or smart align. All right, so far so good. So this is this cool thing here. As you can see, there's a drop shadow here or a bit of a shadow that's been created. I did that. It was very quick and drawn together, but nonetheless, it was done. Component, I'm gonna actually release this, folks. Taking the component mode off. I don't know, it's very distracting. All right, I'm gonna use the pen tool, guys, P, or let's go over to the corner and select the pen tool. And for my ones who don't know how to use pen tools, don't worry, I'm gonna save another video for that as well. I mean, it's just so much to do here in XD, so be mindful. I'm gonna have some videos for you guys. You're gonna learn to master this pen tool just the same way I did. Because it's a doozy, but it's doable. It's totally doable. So I can just click here, and then I'm going to actually drag this piece out. This is not even going to look nearly as good as the one I done, but I'm just kind of looking to finish. So I'm just going to scale it out a little bit, and with a hold Control, or see if we can click it. And I'm gonna kind of scale it and smush it down a little bit. And then I'm probably gonna get on the edge of it. If you get on the edge of it, you can do some rotating going on here. So we're gonna rotate. All right, so this may come out the same, we'll see. All right, so we're gonna select it. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna remove the border. I'm gonna fill it in. I'm gonna fill it black. And then I'm going to, you can either do that, fill it in, drop the opacity. It does the same thing. That gets you a nice feel for one. Or, you can do, the one I actually did was object blur. And then I had kind of gave it a little fade, and then I dropped the opacity a little bit. So it gave it a nice little look. So that mount's kind of harsh. So the way I kind of did it was I would work it down a little bit by a little bit. And then that's kind of where we got the drop shadow effect. So again, not as good as the one I did before, but you get the point though. We worked in a little bit of a drop shadow. We got it in. We pulled something off there, but here it is. We worked it in. So we did a little object blur, pen tool, remove the border, filled it in with black, and dropped it down the opacity there to about what I got on 16. No real set number. Just did it by the eye. Did an object blur. This is a cool one. You can do object blur or background blur. These are cool settings. So right here, prime example. Let me show you how that works. Maybe I can click on this whole thing and then do a background blur. And then see, this is how you go for the my ones who are going to be joining in on this, on the designing and stuff. Glass morphism, that kind of cool little trendy thing. That's how you make that happen though, background blur. So just want to give you an example of what that looks like. All right. So to mark this stuff as export, you can export these things too. I'm going to say that totally for another video, but I'm going to give you an example. Let's just grab the shoe. I hold Control E or right click, and there's the export option right here available. Probably right in my face and I can't see it. Yep. Mark it as export. So you can do it that way, and then Control E. And then you can pick some options here though. You can export it as PNG, SVG, PDF, and JPEG. So it's all up to you. For designs, you got your different layouts. For web, you'll usually have these 1 or 1x, 2x. That lets you know it's going to come in like a smaller size, and then the next one's going to be a larger size. So these can be used two ways. The smaller one maybe for mobile devices, and the larger one for like your websites for desktops. So just kind of some ways they work that iOS and Android. So you can use these for those as well, and then you'll pick your path of where you want to save it to. But yes, some other cool features though is prototype. We have prototype where you can select different parts and set some triggers and animations. We have share where you can share your files for others to see. And that's in the paid version. You really don't have that flexibility here. See, this is where it's prepared for. You can do, I think, one share with one person, and then it's time to upgrade. So Figma does much better with that because that's free on their behalf. So anyway, another cool thing that I did forget though is when you do make components, you can make states. I'm going to actually use our button, and then this is going to close us out here, folks. Let's use our button here. I'm going to do Control K for a component, and we have these here default state. So this is where you can change the state of stuff. So I'm going to do a hover state, and for the hover state, we can click right into that component, and then I'm going to do let's just randomly do another color so you'll know that it's changed. Why not a blue? Sure. So to verify that you know it's going to change, is you can just click on it, hover state, default state. So it already lets you know it's going to get ready to work for us. Okay. So we'll click on that button. I'm going to do Control T, and it just tabs me over the prototype. But we can also just click prototype up here, and it's already got the modes kind of set. So once we hover, I'm going to set an auto animate. Again, this is a whole nother world too. I don't want to show you right now, but these are all the different cool things we can do with our animations. Is right in here. But we're going to actually keep it in auto animate. So this is kind of the default setting. Is the XD is going to kind of compile together and perform a task for you, kind of like perform a type of animation for you. I love ease in and out. That's just my thing. And I'm going to do it by 0.6 seconds. And then for the hover state, we're going to set it. All right. So this one is going to be set with a hover, and it's going to auto animate, and we're going to choose the state back to its default state. All right, ease in and out, and the settings are still remaining the same over here on the easing and duration. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here, and we can do either Control Enter from here if we like, and we can go into prototype mode or go to this play button at the top corner. So some cool things to show you is you can invite a friend to come in here and design with you and have some fun. I will in the future have my bro, one of my brothers coming in and joining, and wanted to do some crazy fun stuff in here. Made from time to time live streaming as well. Here we go. And then you have your mobile preview and desktop preview. I'm going to just do desktop right now. I just want to simply just get into that mode on prototype, and I'm going to drag it over here if I can. And onto the screen we go. Hover. Nice. So you can see, I think you can see, right? Hover over it. That blue button has eased in and out on this change. Okay, obviously, if you wanted to go slower, you can raise your duration up higher, but that's all you really need. All right, cool. So this is a little example of cool things you can do with Adobe XD. I hope I wasn't all over the place, folks. A lot of cool, crazy stuff. But here you go, a pretty kick butt landing page. I don't care what you do with this here. You're gonna pretty much get your own components anyway, so it's not like I've supplied any. I want to leave that creativity up to you. All right, so this is all you got to do. Come in here. Don't get caught up with a lot of these videos out here where you got to have all these different column settings, all these dimensions, all that. Like, just come in here and do like I did. Just come in and have fun. I was playing with this long before all these cool extended features. I was here out the gate, and so I'm very appreciative of every awesome tool that you guys now have access to for my ones who are new to this. But the ones who've been doing it, guys, I totally know I missed some things. You guys can feel free to mention it down in the comments below and let these folks know about some other cool stuff. But I will have a deeper dive. Again, this is a crash course and it's already run well over its duration that I had set for it. So we're going to leave it at that. All right, folks, that wraps it up. So I really hope you got a good look at XD and just a little good quick feel. And we went over all the cool things we can do in there, and then we also built a little something. So again, this is a stepping stone to something great for you guys to build on and enjoy. So this is the fun part. This is the designing piece, and the next phase of this whole thing, I think I want to do Adobe Figma and then comparison, and then eventually go and do this on a code base. So we'll use it and we'll code this bad boy in. All right, so enough of all that. Hope you had fun. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, subscribe, check your boy out, Get a Dev, ring the bell so you'll be notified for every video I drop moving forward. Till next time, folks, we out.